There are 5 things that you can do that will absolutely make your partner want to hold you tight, not want to let you go, because they know it sets you apart from everybody else. My wife and I consciously practiced these, and we lost sight of number 5, actually, and it almost drove us apart. So what are these 5 practices? Let's dive in. The first principle is called be in your power softly. Now, the key word in this phrase is softly, because you already have power. We're assuming that you're in a relationship with somebody who loves you and you love them. That's the frame that we're coming from. And so when you have that level of closeness, you have massive influence in this person's life. You have massive power that you may not even know the amount of influence. You may be thinking, well, Matt, I don't have that much influence. My partner, they do what they want to do. Well, I think you're underestimating the amount that your partner cares about you. So being in your power softly refers to how you create influence with them. I'll give you an example. I was working for a particular boss, and this boss would come into meetings, and this boss would want to create change in a particular outcome. And we're working on a project and it's not going the way it's going. This boss would come in and they would raise their voice to the point where they were almost yelling, like they were very intense, and they would slam their hand on the desk. Boom, boom, boom. And the whole team was like afraid of this boss. And the team would do what this boss said to do. And I was, colleagues with this person. And so I was having a conversation with this boss and wanting to help them learn how to create even more influence with the team. And so I told this person, I said, look, I don't know if you know how much influence you have. And the fact that you're actually raising your voice and pounding your fist on the desk, which was the last 3 meetings we had, that's what I saw occur. You're actually pushing the team away instead of coming together and working as one. You could come in at 50% the intensity and still get the outcome that you want. And I saw this person put a look on their faces, they were reflecting, and they say, well, I'm afraid that if I don't say it this way, that the message won't really go through. And I said, I think you're vastly underestimating your influence and the power that you have. You're the boss. Everyone's looking to you. And so this person really consciously began to dial down their intensity, dial down their fist pounding. And what they found was that not only did they get the result that they wanted, the team felt closer with them. It bonded them together with the team. And the same thing is true in relationships, that when you want some change to occur, maybe you want chores to be done differently, maybe you want to work as a partner more, maybe you want to spend more time together. Whatever that case is, you have a particular style of how you bring it up to your partner. You might be the person you're already bringing it up in a soft startup way. But know this, if you bring it up in a critical way with a harsh startup where something happens and maybe they didn't clean up after themselves again, or maybe they left their dirty socks on the floor again, and you launch in with you always do this, and you're critical and you're harsh, that will actually push your partner away instead of draw them in. John and Julie Gottman wrote this great book called Fight Right. And in that book, they talk about the soft startup, that where you're going to bring up a change that you want to see. You want to bring up potentially an argument or a fight. Instead of coming in hot and critical, if you can have a soft startup where you can begin with, hey, I know we're all on the same team and there's something that I would love to shift here. Coming in with that soft startup, what they found is dramatic results. In fact, they have all this research where they chart arguments and couples. And what they found was that couples who came in critical, came in hot, even if they dialed it back down in the middle of the argument, had a 90% chance of an unfavorable outcome and even divorce, not just for that argument, but 6 years down the line. That if your pattern is a harsh startup, it's really hard to recover from that. So that's why principle number 1 is be in your power softly. Know you've got influence, and so use that soft startup to create the outcome you want. Principle number 2, I love, and it's help your man feel like he's winning with you. And this is super powerful, and you may not fully understand the depth of the power of this one, but think about it this way. When you're playing a game, if you think that you're guaranteed to lose, how fun is that game? You don't want to play the game. If there's no hope of winning, you're like, I'm out. Like I'm not even going to attempt to play the game. And yet so often in relationships, there might be areas where your man feels like he's going to lose with you. You want him to be more romantic perhaps, or you want him to be more affectionate perhaps. But the last few times he's tried to be romantic, or you might have a history of him trying to be affectionate in a particular way, and he fails at that. Like he doesn't hit the mark. You let him know because you tell him, this doesn't feel good. I don't like that. I don't like the way that you say that. And he feels like, wow, I don't know how to win with her in this way. And you want these things, but he's not even going to engage because he feels like he's not going to win. There was a client who wanted her man to take her dancing and to do more dancing with her. And I said, let me ask you this. What's his level of confidence on a scale of 1 to 10 that he could actually dance with you and have it please you? And she was like, well, I've never really thought about that. I think maybe like a 2. And I said, if his confidence is a 2, no wonder he's not taking you dancing. He doesn't feel like he can win. So how can you help him create small wins, right? How can you help him feel like he's progressing with you? I remember a funny example of this is my wife asked me one day, she's like, hey, I want you to give me some sexy texts. Like, give me some like sexy text. I'm like, oh, all right, nice, okay, yeah, I'm all over this. So I sent her a text, bam, sent. She texted me back. She was like, no, that's not sexy enough. Like, dirty talk me. And I'm like, all right, okay, dirty talk. Sent her the next one, boom, sent her. I'm like, all right, yeah. And she wrote back and she was like, no, way too much, way too much. I'm like, I don't know what she wants right now. Like, how am I going to win with her? I don't even know where the mark is. Like, she's got this mysterious mark, not enough, too much. I was like, okay, we need to learn where her sweet spot is on the dirty text. So I took a couple courses, downloaded some books, and we discovered, oh, okay, it's this kind of stuff that she's looking for. So now I could win with her. A great way to help your man win with you is to give him a mission that he knows he can deliver on, right? Give him a mission. Let him know, like say, hey, I would love it if you planned a dinner for us this weekend, a romantic dinner. Well, for him, he's like, well, what does that mean? Romantic place specifically. And you're like, I would love for you to plan a romantic dinner, someplace that's got candles and tablecloths. Okay, now he can win that. It's specific enough. You say, hey, I want you to be more affectionate with me. And he's like, all right, well, what does that mean? And you're like, instead, a way better mission is, hey, you know what I would love it is, couple of times this week when I'm cooking, I want you to come up behind me, give me a hug, and kiss me on the neck. That'll help me feel so loved. Boom. Now he's got a mission. Now he knows how to win with you, because ultimately his biggest goal, what is winning for him? Winning is making you happy. That's what he wants. That's his highest outcome when it comes to that relationship. Number 3 is prioritize play together. Right? It's not just prioritize playing where you each go off and you do something fun. This is where you're actually playing together and making it a priority, not a nice to have if life opens up. You actually carve out and create space and time to do something that you both love. This could be an activity where you go hiking or play pickleball or go snowboarding or surfing or something that you love doing together. It could be playing board games at home, but you prioritize play. Why? Because play is fun. And spirit loves fun. Life loves fun. That creates an expansive feeling in the relationship. As I talk to husbands who love their wives and love that relationship, what is it that they love most? They love how easy it is to be with her, how much fun they have together, the fact that they're married to their best friend and their lover, that they get to have all those experiences together is absolutely phenomenal. So prioritizing play means, okay, we're going to actually carve out every single week, at least once a week, where you're going to do something that's fun. There's this great phrase. So if you're looking for how do you amplify the fun, because for some men, fun is not going to be go to a dinner and a movie. Like go to a dinner and talk about your week and talk about all the things that have gone on and the tasks and the to-dos and all of that. Date nights can turn into weekly debrief meetings if you're not careful. Prioritizing fun means you do something that you both really enjoy. It's going to be fun. There's a great saying that men get together to do things. Women do things so they can get together. So your nature might be, well, we're having fun because we're on a date night. We're doing things so we can talk. Where your man, you ask him, say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how fun is this? And is there anything we could do that would be even more fun for you? And he'd be like, yeah, let's actually go and do tennis together, or let's go kayaking or paddleboarding together or fishing together or something like that. That's going to infuse the fun. And so you could take turns where you do something he wants to do, he does something that you want to do. But that priority of fun is the kind of thing where when he thinks about just how much he loves this relationship, guess what images are going to come to his mind? All of the fun activities you guys have prioritized together. And the fourth principle for creating an environment where your man wants to hold you tight and never let go is to find reasons to admire him. Now, as I say this, I know that might be triggering. That might be, well, I'm not going to find reasons to admire him. That's going to place him up here and me down there. And the truth is that's absolutely false. That we can admire people. We can absolutely find things about others that we admire without diminishing ourselves. What's fascinating is the person who resists admiring others is often the person who's feeling less than in themselves. It's the person who's needing more validation that's going to resist validating others. It's an inherent need that men have to be respected, to feel like you see us as capable, you see us as enough and worthy and able. And the easiest way to evoke and generate that feeling of respect is to notice things that you admire about us. He should be admiring things about you as well. But that feeling of, wow, my woman believes in me is irreplaceable. It is so necessary and so needed that she champions me. She believes in me. She has my back. Why? I know because she admires these things about me. That is so fantastic. I had a great experience early in my speaking career. I was insecure about my speaking skills. And yet I had done enough where I got asked to be on a panel of judges for brand new speakers who were developing their speaking skills. And our job was to give them feedback on what we loved and how and what they could do to be even better. And so I'm on this panel with other amazing speakers. And as I'm watching this first participant come out and they give their talk, my mind is just going to all the things they're doing wrong. And I'm like hard pressed to think about something that I'm admiring, something that I'm appreciating of what they're doing. I'm like, wow, man, this is not very good. And blah, blah, blah. My mind is just like tearing them apart. The other judges are chatting in what they love about this person and the things they admire about what they're doing. And these are amazing, capable, successful speakers that are these judges. And I was blown away at what they could see that I was missing, because I was coming from this place of internally my own not enoughness, which was then filtering what I could see in this other person as their not enoughness. The people who were coming from this place of enough could actually see the things that they admired. And it was a wake-up call for me, where I decided in that moment that I'm going to practice being the person who sees the greatness, who sees the things that I admire first. And then, of course, there are things that can always improve, but I've got to be able to lock in on those things. So as you practice seeing the things that you admire about your man, you will create a field of love and empowerment when he's around you. And this brings me to the final tool that helps create this beautiful bond between you and your partner, and it's called measured venting. Measured venting. And here's what I mean. In life, there are always challenges. There are things going well, things that are not going well. And when we're in a partnership, our partner is the one that we are likely to vent to. We're likely to share our day, unpack all the things that went wrong that day, the things that we're unhappy about, the things that didn't go well. And so depending on the amount that you're carrying and the stack that you've got going on. Maybe you've had a hard week. Maybe you've had a hard month. Maybe all this stuff is going on. When you and your partner come back together, maybe you're both working, or maybe you're both out for the day, you come back together, there is this sacred time where the two of you get to bond and connect. And chances are, if it's on a weekday, it's just a few hours. If you spend that whole time venting, right? What happens is you ultimately drive a wedge between you and your partner. And it's done unconsciously. You're not trying to drive the wedge. Your partner isn't trying to receive it as a wedge. But ultimately, if there's too much negative energy, it will repel the other person. And so imagine this. Imagine that your partner can hold a certain amount of negative energy, right? A certain amount of complaining, a certain amount of venting. And let's say you've got 80% to give. Like 80% of your energy that day is just, oh, I just need to get this off my chest. Like, this is bad. But your partner's capacity is half of that. So you start venting and they start carrying your load, and then eventually they get full. And if you keep piling it on, like, they literally can't take anymore. Now, I pride myself on having a large capacity to hold space for other people. That's part of what makes me a great coach. And yet, there was a period of time a few years ago where my wife was going through a lot of challenges, and she was going through a lot of emotional turmoil. And it was like every night when I got off work, she would just unload and share with me what she was unhappy about this and unhappy about that and unhappy about the school. And it was like the majority of our evening was spent me just receiving and holding space for her emotional state. And after a period of time, we had to have a talk, and I said, honey, I am at my max. Like, I'm literally feeling myself at my limit. I can't hold anymore. We've got to distribute this up. And the good news is I'm not the only person who can hold space for you and help you move some of this emotional energy. She ended up finding a therapist that was really able to help hold that energy in a different capacity, because she's not, that therapist wasn't the spouse, and give her different tools to be able to move the energy in a different way. And so if you notice that you are the kind of person where you really need to vent to clear the energy, notice how much your partner can handle, and maybe divvy it up. Give some of it to your mom, some of it to a best friend, some of it to a therapist. No single spouse, no single partner is meant to carry the weight of all of our venting when we're going through a tough time. So how do you know when it's too much or not enough? Is you talk about it. And you ask them, you say, hey, I know I may have been venting a lot lately. I know I may have been bringing this stuff up. Is this okay? Is this amount something that you feel like you can hold space for? Or would you really appreciate less or more? Let's talk. What would make this an even better experience? And then you guys can create a solution that works for both of you. So there you have it. 5 amazing principles, practices that when you practice these 5, oh my gosh, you create an environment and an experience that your man in that state feels like, wow, I never want to let go. I want to hold this woman so tight. She is so amazing. My question for you is, what is it that your partner does? What is it that maybe you've been in a relationship and have had somebody show up in a way that just absolutely makes you never want to let go? What are those ways of being? If you could post those in the comment section below, I would love to learn from you as well. I appreciate you. Here's to your amazing love life. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.